Moving on now, we have Foad Izadi joining me from Tehran. He's a professor of political communication at Tehran University. Foad, thank you for coming on. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the proceedings today and what we're expected to see?
You know, Mr. Haniyeh is receiving the same level of respect as Iran's late President Raisi. A similar scene that you're seeing today, we saw when Mr. Raisi was killed. So he's receiving a state funeral. A few minutes ago, you saw the country's leader leading the prayer for him, and you had all government officials, all military officials. It was interesting for me to see the commander of IRGC's ballistic missile program in the crowd. I think he's going to be busy in the next few days because I think Iran is going to repeat what Iran did in April in terms of attacking the people who assassinated Mr. Haniyeh.
And you mentioned Iran's potential reaction there, Iran's supreme leaders threatening harsh punishment. How far do you think we can expect Iran to go with this?
You know, last time Iran did this was after Iran's embassy in Damascus was attacked. Iran has said that attacking Iranian territory is a red line. It took a few days last time. I don't know how many days it will take. I think the Iranian military is looking at different possibilities, different scenarios. But overall, I think you're going to see a serious response. And Iran has no other choice. If Israelis feel they can engage in this type of activities on Iranian territory, they will continue to attack Iran. And Iran needs to prevent that, and Iran needs to make sure that the pain that Israelis feel for this attack is serious enough so this type of activities would stop. You know, Mr. Netanyahu is killing an average of 10, 15 children on a daily basis for the last 10 months. So they have no limitations on engaging in criminal activities, and Iran has no choice but to deal with them with force.
And Foad, has there been any sort of backlash against the security services in Iran after this assassination was able to happen in the country?
You know, it is the responsibility of the host country to protect these type of dignitaries. So there are serious concerns. But we have reports that Mr. Haniyeh was identified, his location was identified through his cell phone. He was using his personal cell phone, and that's how Israelis managed to find out where he is. And with all the technology that the US is providing to Israel and all the money, you know, they have this type of capability to engage and do what they did a couple of nights ago. But I agree with you. You know, I think Iran should have done more in terms of protecting him. Maybe they could have taken away his cell phone. I don't know. This is not my area of expertise. But overall, this is why you see this level of sadness, because Iranians feel responsible for what happened. And, you know, internationally, Iranians, Turkish people, you know, people in this part of the world are famous for welcoming guests, for, you know, honoring guests. So when you have the guest of a country attacked in this manner and killed in this manner, then you will see what you're seeing on your screens now.
And Foad, this is not the first attack of its kind happening on Iranian soil. What do you think Iran is doing to protect prominent figures in the country at times like this?
You know, they're going to try to do more. Of course, no one wants to see a repeat of what you saw. And one way to respond to this type of activities is to make sure that the criminals who engaged in this terrorist act pay a price for it. So that's one way. The other way is to make sure they're not able to repeat this type of activities. So I think on both fronts, Iran is going to try to do more. You know, this is, you know, Israelis have been engaging in terrorism for the last 76 years. Israel is a terrorist state. They have developed expertise to engage in this type of activities. It's not easy to confront a country that has 76 years of terrorism experience. But at the end of the day, Iran feels responsible for what happened. And I think they're going to try to do more to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And we're seeing live pictures at the moment from Ismail Haniyeh's proceedings that are happening. And we're seeing members of the public holding up pictures of him. Why was Ismail Haniyeh such a significant figure in Iran?
You know, Ismail Haniyeh is a significant figure internationally. All the people who are sick of seeing the genocide that's going in Palestine respect him. You have shown on your television station all the demonstrations all over the world in support of the Palestinian cause. Ismail Haniyeh is the leader of the Palestinian cause. He's one of the major leaders of Palestine. And he was an important leader. And he was negotiating with the other side. He was the lead negotiator on reaching peace. And you can tell a lot about Americans and Israelis when they don't want to reach an agreement, they kill the negotiator. This is the level of terrorism that they exercise. So Mr. Haniyeh was loved and respected internationally. I think his assassination is mourned not just by Arabs or Muslims, but all freedom lovers all over the world. He was a resistance fighter. He was a strong man. And I think he will be remembered in history as one of the people who liberated Palestine. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. And Iranians and other countries are going to make sure that happens.
And Foad, we've seen live pictures from the funeral prayers, which were led by Iran's supreme leader for Ismail Haniyeh. Is that type of action just reserved for major events of mourning in the country like this one?
Yes, you had all the political leaders of the country, you had all the military leaders of the country. This is the highest. Iran declared 3 days of mourning. 3 days of mourning, this level of funeral presence is reserved for the country's president, for the highest individuals. And Mr. Haniyeh was treated as the president of a state, president of Palestine. And this is what you saw. So the level of respect is unique for individuals that I just mentioned. And there wasn't much that Iranians could do more than what you see.
Okay. Foad Izadi, live from Tehran. Thank you so much for coming on and for your analysis.